Hello, namaskar, namaskara, namaskaram, namaskar. My name is Pooja Dwivedi. Welcome to my class, The Daily Current Affairs. This class is going to be a boon for those students who are going to prepare or are preparing for UPSC 2024, even 2025 and beyond, because it is important to be very clear about what prelims wants. Mains has a structured syllabus, prelims doesn't. Prelims nowadays is becoming more unreliable day by day, year by year. But if we know how prelims questions are drafted, we can definitely look out for those kind of knowledge and concepts that are needed to qualify prelims. So here I am to help you develop that skill only. Before I begin, I would like to ask you to pay full attention to this class. Do not make any sort of notes because I provide the notes on my Telegram channel that is by the name of Pooja Dwivedi UPSC. If you're interested in writing answers, that means developing skills for answer writing, I also conduct answer writing sessions here. Other than this, if you're interested in talking about UPSC strategy making or any doubts if you have, you can talk to me directly on my Instagram as well. Moving on. These are the many things that we have to cover today. Let's go through them step by step. Before that, I would like to inform you that from 11th of August, we are launching our morning batches. These batches will be the P2I batches. That means they will prepare you not for only prelims and mains, but also the interviews. We will deliver the study material at your doorstep. Other than that, you will get prelims test series, mains test series, answer writing practice sessions, current affairs modules on a daily basis so that you do not fall behind, and a very important mains residential program for those students who are going to qualify prelims 2024. You will be called to the Study IQ campus for 4 months rigorous preparation for the mains examination. Now, if you want all this, it is just available at rupees 70,000 for English and Hindi students. But if you use the code PDLive, you will get it at 29,999. Please use this code. Let's move ahead and talk about the various aspects of today's class. Last time I asked you a question and many of you have answered it correctly. Let's solve it together. I will take the names of those who have answered it correctly at the last. So consider the following states: Himachal Pradesh, Telangana, Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka. How many of the above mentioned states have a fifth schedule area? See, in the sixth schedule, we have specific provisions for Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram. But in the fifth schedule, we have the specific provision for 10 states of India, such as Himachal Pradesh, Telangana, Madhya Pradesh. But Karnataka is not amongst them. These are certain states where the fifth schedule areas either partially or fully are available. So 1, 2 and 3 is going to be the correct answer. 3 only will be the correct answer. Why have I asked you this question earlier? Because recently the Department of Panchayati Raj under the Jharkhand government recently published the draft rules, and it is open for consultation to be provided for the tribal areas of Jharkhand under the Panchayats Extension to Scheduled Areas of 1996 or PESA. The PESA Act that was enacted in order to ensure that the tribes do not feel threatened, as in if they have to practice their own customs, if they have to practice their own livelihood, they can do so sustainably. And here it was for the people living in the scheduled areas, such as the rights of the tribal communities had to be preserved, helping them govern themselves through their own systems of self-government, because tribes are very different from the rest of the India. The kind of culture they follow, the socio-economic background and the fabric is very different. So a country such as India, which is so diverse, needs to protect such interests. And it also acknowledges their traditional rights over the natural resources. Who is empowered under this? The Gram Sabhas are empowered to play a key role in approving developmental plans. Also, specific other areas are having Gram Sabhas empowerment, such as exercising control over minor forest resources, minor water bodies and minor minerals, managing the local markets, preventing land alienation, as well as regulating intoxicants, among other things. So a prelims question can also be formulated when it comes to the powers of the Gram Sabha with respect to these specific areas. So remember it. The state governments are expected to amend their respective Panchayati Raj Acts in order to impose the PESA. And here only the entire thing rests, as in the Panchayati Raj, which was a landmark movement towards India's decentralization of powers, also was acknowledging the fact that there are tribes as well, which are very different from the rest of the India. So that is why, in order to give respect to the concept of decentralization, the PESA stands. And that is without making any law that would be inconsistent with the mandate of PESA. That means the state governments can have their own amendment with respect to the State Panchayati Raj Act, but it should not be in contrast to the uniformity. Also, Andhra Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Gujarat, Himachal Pradesh, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Odisha, Rajasthan and Telangana are certain states which are in the fifth schedule. These are all in the fifth schedule, but all do not have the rules, the draft rules, because as of yet, out of the 10 PESA states, 8 states only have framed and notified their state PESA rules under the respective Panchayati Raj Acts, and Jharkhand is going to be the next if everything goes well. Andhra Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Gujarat, Himachal Pradesh, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Telangana have done it, but not the rest. With respect to Niger, consider the following statements. It is bordered by 7 countries. The Tropic of Cancer passes through it, and its capital is closer to Algeria than it is to Mali. So we have to understand it from a map perspective. I also conduct the map insights classes so that you are very clear about the map segment. So how many of the statements given above is or are correct? See, recently the government has said that 250 people, specifically Indians we are talking about, the 250 Indians that are living in Niger, they are safe, but many governments such as France, they have evacuated the French nationals from Niger because of the recent coup that has taken place. And the embassy at Niamey, that is the capital of Niger, is constantly in touch with the Indian government to inform about the situation. So let's see about Niger. Let us see how many countries actually border it. This is Niger. Niger is bordered by Nigeria. This is 1. Then Chad is 2. Libya is 3. Algeria is 4th. Mali is 5. Burkina Faso is 6. Benin is 7. There are 7 countries that are bordering the country of Niger. And here is Niamey. Niamey is very far away from Algeria, but it is closer to Mali. So the first statement, let's see, it's correct, and third statement is incorrect. Its capital Niamey is closer to Mali than to Algeria. All right, and the Tropic of Cancer doesn't pass through it. Here is the Tropic of Cancer. I'm trying to draw it for you over here, but it passes just above Niger. It lies to the south of the Tropic of Cancer. So what happens is that the first statement is correct, second is incorrect, third is also incorrect. One only will be the correct answer. Let's move ahead to the next question. Consider the following. It may lead to decentralization. It may go against the collective responsibility of the cabinet. It may violate the principle of parliamentary democracy. See, how many of the above is or are the criticisms of National Capital Territory of Delhi Bill that has been recently passed, and it will amend the last ordinance that was passed in order to give powers to the central government to have a say in the service cadre of Delhi. So this is something that is not sitting well with the constitutional experts as well. Why? Let's know about it. See, first of all, this National Capital Territory of Delhi Bill, it was passed in the Lok Sabha, and it replaces the Delhi Service Ordinance which was passed recently. Now, features include certain things that you have to understand from the perspective of answer writing as well. So do not just think that this is only for prelims. It primarily is for prelims, but many facts, if you also write in your mains examination, you will get brownie points for that. So it amends the Government of National Capital Territory of Delhi Act of 1991. Okay, this was the first act that was first, as in the earlier act from this was passed, and this is only has been amended. Also, you have to keep in mind that Article 239AA of the Indian Constitution has given the Parliament certain powers to make laws with respect to certain categories. Okay, so Parliament under that only is doing so. It empowers the central government to make rules in connection with the affairs of the Government of National Capital Territory of Delhi. Now this, as I already told you, it is according to Article 239AA of the Indian Constitution. So it is not unconstitutional. It has given the powers to the Parliament, but also it is not sitting well with the constitutional experts for certain reasons. It, according to this particular bill, will have will give the powers to the central government to have a say in functions, terms and other condition of services of officers and employees. Also, it has a provision of constitution of a National Capital Civil Services Authority. Okay, so that makes this entire bill to place the powers in the hands of the central government. It is not decentralization. It may lead to decentralization. No, it has led to centralization only. So this is not a criticism. The first one is not a criticism because it is saying decentralization. It may go against the collective responsibility of the cabinet. Let us see, does it or doesn't it? It confers powers upon the transfer over the transfer and posting of officers to the authority. It may break the triple chain of accountability that links the civil services, ministers and the legislature. So this interconnectivity, when you are bypassing the state government, it creates an issue, and this issue is directly related to what? It is violating the principle of parliamentary democracy. Again, that is related to the third criticism. Again, the next criticism, the LG, Lieutenant Governor, has been granted sole discretion in several matters, including when the Legislative Assembly will convene. The Council of Ministers of any state legislature is an executive. They are implementing the policies, but they are accountable to the eventually to the state legislature themselves. Like in a parliamentary democracy, it works. And collective responsibility of the Council of Ministers of the Delhi State Legislative Assembly rests with the Legislative Assembly. But here, when the LG comes into the picture, what happens? That connection has been broken. So on this basis only we can say that it violates the, or it may go against the collective responsibility of the cabinet. Okay, moving on. Another criticism is department secretaries will bring certain matters directly to the lieutenant governor and chief minister and the chief secretary without consulting the concerned minister. Now this also breaks the actual convention that has been formulated, and it is not anywhere written that a protocol has to be followed. But if we are following something by convention, by tradition, when that gets broken down, there's the very revered conventions of the entire democratic system starts to fall. So let us see how useful or unuseful this bill proves to be when it will actually be implemented. These were the certain criticisms. I have already told you about this Article 239AA. It gives special status to Delhi as the union territory with legislative assembly. Okay, because many union territories do not have that. Also, it permits the parliament to make laws on matters which are generally coming under the exclusive purviews of the state, like services. So, the parliament has been permitted according to this particular article. That is why this particular bill does not seem unconstitutional. When it gets implemented, it has definitely threatened the conventions of the constitution. Article 239AB, it allows the President of India to make regulations for the good governance in Delhi. So remember these two very important articles, remember them, okay? Who among the following found the self-respect movement? Sri Narayan Guru, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Thanthai Periyar, Alumuthi Govindan Channar. Many of you, if you have read the modern history part very correctly and properly and you have revised it, then you can answer this question very well. This is a very easy question. Sometimes UPSC can throw easy questions as well, just to give solace to students that okay, you are doing very well. But other times what we see, that only 10 questions are like these. The remaining 90 questions are like the questions that we really follow. So the correct answer will be, among these will be option C, Thanthai Periyar, E.V. Ramaswamy Naikar. Okay. And people from the Dalit community recently entered a local temple in Tamil Nadu, and this has been done for the first time in more than half a century. So that takes us to the self-respect movement in Tamil Nadu. Erode Venkatappa Ramaswamy. He was also lovingly known as Periyar or Thanthai Periyar. He was an ardent social reformer and a politician. He was against the Brahminical order, the order which created divisions amongst the society and schism amongst the society. So he was against that. And he is for that very reason known as the father of Dravidian movement. Also, he was against Brahmanical dominance and gender and caste discrimination that was going on in Tamil Nadu. The self-respect movement was found in order to destroy the contemporary Hindu structure, Hindu social structure, not Hinduism. Please do not get riled up. He was against the structure that was in place which created discrimination, and he wanted to create a new rational society without caste, God and religion. So a very beautiful prelims question can be formulated. What was the self-respect movement about? Statement 1 will be given, destroying the contemporary Hindu social order. And now it's of course not such, if if you look at from that perspective, back then the structure was such that it created stratas. Even Mahatma Gandhi was against stratas, because if you have a strata in your society, unity is impossible, and without unity what will happen? Movements such as the national movement, they couldn't be given proper implementation. So that is why. So destroying the contemporary Hindu social order in its totality, not partially, but totality, and creating a new rational society without caste, religion, and God. So these two statements were what the self-respect movement was about. And Viacom Satyagraha, which was started in 1924, he also led that. Because of this, the Travancore government made many changes, and that helped the people to enter the temple who were not allowed to be in the temple earlier. And hence he was given the title of Viacom hero of the Viacom. Consider the following statements. The Biological Diversity Amendment Bill of 2021 does not define the term codified traditional knowledge, and it may lead to exemption of all local traditional knowledge from benefit sharing requirements. So choose the correct answer using the following codes. The BDA Bill of 2021 is going to replace or amend the Biodiversity Act of 2002. In the first initiation, the first objective of the BDA 2002 was to ensure that equitable distribution is being done when it comes to whatever the knowledge has been taken from the local drugs, Ayurveda, to the local communities as well. But the recent biodiversity bill, it does not define the term codified traditional knowledge at all. And if there is no definition of codified traditional knowledge, then it can lead to exemption of all local traditional knowledge from benefit sharing requirement. That means the benefits that were earlier going to the local communities according to the proper act BDA 2002, it might not go to them anymore. We will find out the key features. So statement 1 is correct, statement 2 is correct. Statement 1, because of this particular no definition of the codified traditional knowledge, has led to the explanation of statement 2. So both the statements are correct, and statement 1 is the correct explanation of statement 2. The bill amends the BDA of 2002 in order to simplify compliance requirements for domestic companies. Domestic companies which want to manufacture Ayurvedic medicines can get help in that, and users of codified traditional knowledge and Ayush practitioners will be exempted from sharing benefits with local communities. Because, see, if you do not define anything, what is codified traditional knowledge? Codified traditional knowledge is the knowledge that is emanating from, it's like basically a knowledge that is coming from the local community. And when it is used to manufacture any medicine, because I may have taken help of that particular local community in knowing about the herbs and the plants that are over there, what happens that the local community which has given me help, I will also share the benefits with them. But now, because the government wants to ensure that more and more people come into manufacturing for such herbs and medicines from Ayurveda, it has said, okay, if you want to earn profit, you do not need to do benefit sharing under the codified traditional knowledge system, so that more people can come into this manufacturing unit or manufacturing capacity for Ayush, and they want to earn profit, right? If they will earn profit, then only they will have any incentive to enter into industry. If they enter into the industry and if they still have to share the benefits, what is the point of it? This is what the government is trying to do. It removes research and biosurvey activities from the purview of the benefit sharing requirements. Benefit sharing will be based on terms agreed between the user and the local management committee. If local management committee and the user agree on certain things, then it's okay. Which will be represented by a national authority, and the bill decriminalizes all offences under the act, but it has certain penalties. Decriminalization has been balanced by more penalties. Key issues is that the term codified traditional knowledge hasn't been defined, and the bill removes the direct role of the local communities in determining the benefit sharing provision. So this is not something that the Biodiversity Act of 2002 was doing. It decriminalizes offences under the Act but provides a wide range of penalties. It empowers the government officials to hold inquiries and determine penalties as well. Okay, moving on. Consider the following statements. The Indian vulture is native to only India and Pakistan. India's vulture population has declined by 99% since the 1980s. The Vulture Recovery Plan was incorporated into the Action Plan for Vulture Conservation in 2006. So how many of the statements given above is or are not correct? Okay. So we see that the vultures are a scavenger of the environment. They're very important for the ecosystem. They feast on the dead and the decomposed. But if you do not have vultures, what will happen? That rats and feral dogs, these will continue to be secondary scavengers. That means they will also carry diseases. Vultures are the cleaners of the ecosystem. That is why it is important to preserve them. They are also human friendly. But because of the rampant use of diclofenac, it was found out that many vultures have died, and this has created since the 1980s a decline in the India's vulture population, and that too by a whopping 99%. So second statement is definitely correct. The Indian vulture is native to only India and Pakistan. No, it is also found in Nepal. Which one? Indian vulture. This is a resident vulture. We have migratory vultures and resident vultures. 6 are residents. That means they stay in India, and 3 are migratory. Alright. So, Indian vulture is native to Pakistan, India and Nepal. The first statement is incorrect. When it was found out in 2006 that diclofenac is causing this intoxication and eventually death in the vultures, it was banned in 2006. That was used as a wet drug, wet as in for the animals. Veterinary. And veterinary drug such as diclofenac was causing issues among the vultures, because when cows and dogs used to die, their liver still had the presence of such drugs. And when the vultures used to feast upon them, they get poisoned and eventually they die. So that is why diclofenac was banned. So first is incorrect. Second is correct. Third, when diclofenac was banned, the vulture recovery plan was also incorporated into the action plan for vulture conservation in the year 2006. Okay. So first incorrect, second correct, third correct. Not correct, one only. Okay, because 2 are correct. Now experts who have worked on vultures have welcomed the centre's decision to ban ketoprofen and aceclofenac. Both, not both, but 3-pronged approach. Manufacture, sale and distribution, all 3 are banned. And this is reminiscent of the diclofenac that was banned in 2006. The decrease in vulture population may result in an increase in population of rats and feral dogs, who in turn will spread diseases. Since the 1990s, the population and the size of gyps vulture in India and Nepal alone was estimated to be about 40 million. The number has declined to below 1 lakh at present, an astonishing drop of nearly 99.9% in just 2 decades. Many conservationists are also saying that government, please, like you started Project Tiger and it has been a success. Use a similar project for the conservation of vultures as well. It's an important creature in the ecosystem. People do not know that. People always try to vilify scavengers. Okay, so it's a human friendly bird, very important for the cleanliness of the ecosystem. And Indian vulture is another very important part of it. See, every year, first Saturday of September, to raise awareness about the importance of vulture, is celebrated as the International Vulture Awareness Day. There is no fixed date, but every year, first Saturday of September, UPSC loves to ask questions about it. You know, as in, if they are asking questions about the celebration of any important event on any day, specifically these kind of questions can be asked, which specifically those which do not have a fixed date, so that they can confuse you. So every year, it is the first Saturday of September. We have a total of 9 species of vultures in India, and out of these, 6 species are resident. That means they stay in India. We have white-rumped vulture. Here it is. Then we have Indian vulture. After that, we have slender-billed vulture. The bill is slender, slim. Then we have the red-head vulture. Then we have the bearded vulture and the Egyptian vulture in India. Three other are migratory. They come and go to India. Sometimes they want to reside here, sometimes they want to reside out, in which Himalayan vultures are also there. The Indian vulture is native to India, Pakistan and Nepal, and Indian vulture has been listed as critically endangered on the IUCN since 2002. So you see Indian vultures, how we have lost so many vultures and how we can conserve vultures. This is one of the biggest question of the current situation. Consider the following. Viremia is a condition in which there is a high level of dengue virus in the blood. Ibuprofen and aspirin are effective treatment drugs for dengue, and there is no vaccination available for the dengue, and the primary vector of the dengue virus is the species Aedes aegypti. Primary, that means other mosquitoes under the same genus can also spread it. So how many of the statements given above is or are not correct with respect to dengue? Dengue is known as dengue in English and dengue in Hindi, and it is when it is actually a viral infection which can be carried from a vector. A vector is somebody who is carrying, which is carrying the disease from the vector to humans. So when there is a high presence of dengue virus in the blood, what happens? Viremia takes place. And viremia is a condition in which the mosquito, if it bites that human and then go bites another human, then it will cause dengue to them. Okay, so first is definitely correct. Generally, we do not have any specific treatment for dengue. We just take care of the pain, symptoms and pain that is created through it. But we use generally paracetamol, but not ibuprofen and aspirin, because they can cause bleeding. So they are not the effective treatment for it. Second is incorrect. Currently we have Dengavaxia. We have a vaccination for dengue. So first is correct, second is incorrect, third is incorrect. Primary vector is yes, Aedes aegypti. Okay, so first and fourth, these two are correct. Second and third are not correct. We had to select not correct. 2 only will be the correct answer. A private hospital on Thursday confirmed reports of the first death of dengue in the state, although no official confirmation has been given from the government agencies. That means it can cause death as well. It's a viral infection. It is break-bone fever when dengue occurs in somebody. It spreads from mosquitoes to people. It is more common in tropical and subtropical climates because here only Aedes aegypti mosquito finds a really good ground for breeding. Most common symptoms are high fever, headache, body aches, nausea and rash. Some cases hospitalization occurs, some cases even death occurs. It is very fatal. Acetaminophen, which is paracetamol, is often used to control pain. Non-steroidal anti-inflammatory things such as drugs such as ibuprofen and aspirin, they are avoided. Please do not ever use them. There is a vaccine called Dengavaxia, and it should be given to those who have had dengue once, at least once, and they are living in places where dengue is very prevalent. The dengue virus is carried in and spread by the mosquitoes in which genus? The genus is Aedes. And Aedes, in Aedes we have the Aedes aegypti. It looks something like this. So if you find any mosquito that is looking like this, please kill them. Okay. Also, other mosquito species in genus Aedes include Aedes albopictus, Aedes pollinicensis, and Aedes scutellaris. They have limited ability. Still, there is no zero ability. Limited ability is there to serve as dengue vectors. We do not know they can also evolve in such a manner that apart from Aedes aegypti, in the future, these can also spread this particular disease, dengue. Okay. How does it spread? After a mosquito is biting a human who has already been infected, and this poor mosquito is not infected, but this human has been infected by some other mosquito. He or she has viremia, that means the presence of high dengue virus in the blood, and this mosquito bites them. Then they go to another human who is healthy and then they bite them. It can cause dengue. Okay, so this is how it spreads. Moving on, this is the practice question for you to solve. India and South Africa established their diplomatic relations in which of the following years? 1993, 1994, 1995, 1996. Answer it correctly. I will take the names of those students who have answered that question. Also, let me take the names of those students who have answered my last question correctly. Simran, also Mandeep, Priya, Priyadarshan, Siddharth, Yalalinga, Prakhar, Temporary Creation, Kaushik, Prabhat Kumar, Padmashri, Shubham Singla, Malinath, Suryachandra, Vishesh, Yash Jain, Kasturi, Robinson, Renbonthung. Sorry if I cannot take your entire name because there is no space, right? Om Sharma, Prosit, Vibhav, Vignesh, Abhishek, Vivek, Vishwajit, Sanjay, Vishruti, then Aman Sharma, Khushi, Tejas. Congratulations. Other than this, other group of students have also answered it correctly. Let me take the names of those as well. D. Virina, then Arshi, Ganga, Abhiraj, Rishabh, Raskeria, Rajaryan, Saujanya, Shivani, Vinamra Vishesh, thank you, Omkarana, and thank you so much for answering the last question. You can answer this question as well. I will take your names in the upcoming class. Thank you so much for watching. Stay updated.